Well, we're now going to have a look at Greater Israel. Now, in Jeremiah 3:18, we read, "In those days the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers." Now this verse has not been fulfilled yet. And if this land of the north, Eretz Zaphon, is indeed North America, then the Jews that are in the North America, the Jews that are living there now, and many of them are in either Los Angeles or that side, California, or in New York and other places, but principally those two main areas, the Jews are going to join, or the house of Judah are going to join with the house of Israel within the land of the north, and they shall come together out of the land of the north. So this hasn't happened yet. But we also have Jews in the land of Israel today, and they do the nation of Israel, what's called the nation of Israel, more correctly you would call it the house of Judah, or the state of Judah. They currently do not follow the Torah in government. They do not believe in Yeshua. There is a remnant that does. So there's going to be a battle for the land of Israel by the enemies of Israel, and the Jews within Israel are going to have to fight for Jerusalem, and we expect some pretty major things happening to that place called the State of Israel. But here in Jeremiah we read that the house of Judah shall walk with the house of Israel, and they shall come together out of the land of the north to the land that I have given for an inheritance unto your fathers. And we read about the land of the north previously in Jeremiah 23, and in those verses there align with Ezekiel 34 and so forth. So putting all of this together, we have Jews already in the land of Israel today. So there's part of the house of Judah there in Israel. But the other part of the house of Judah is currently in the land of the north. So the Jews that are scattered everywhere in the world, they're concentrated in two main areas. We've got about 6 or 7 million Jews in Israel today, and we've got about the same number, or just a little bit less, in the United States of America. And we're told that the house of Israel and the house of Judah are both going to be joined together and come out of the land of the north. So the only one that brings the two houses together is Yeshua. So the current place called the State of Israel, that is being gathered for judgment, but not total destruction either. The Jews have built up the land, but their nation has to change from a nation that rejects the Torah and rejects Messiah Yeshua to one that accepts Messiah Yeshua. And most Christians believe that that it's going to take the tribulation times for the Jews to accept Messiah. I don't see that in Scripture. I believe that the Jews are going to accept the Messiah well before the tribulation. They're going to accept the Messiah even as the house of Israel will accept the Torah. And the two will come together, and they'll both follow the Torah and Messiah Yeshua. But then the bride must make herself ready. The bride must make herself ready, even as Rebekah must make herself ready to meet Isaac. And later we read that she falls off her camel. It says in the King James she lighted off her camel, but in the Hebrew she fell off her camel. And that may speak also of the apostasy at the end. We're already living in a time of apostasy, but there have always been times of apostasy. But there will be one final time of apostasy where Rebecca, if you like, falls off her camel, but she gets back up and she meets the groom. There are 5 wise virgins and 5 foolish ones, we're told. So there's going to be a split between Israel, believing Israel and unbelieving Israel. It's not a split between the house of Judah and the house of Israel at that time in the future. It'll be a split between believing house of Israel and house of Judah and unbelieving house of Israel and Judah, which are by that stage one house. So in any case, there's coming a time when the Jews in this place called the land of the north will join with the house of Israel. And currently we've got a lot of the house of Israel in America, and they have to leave and they have to come back to the Holy Land. So God is going to turn that nation upside down, as he is going to turn our nation, Australia, upside down, and New Zealand and so forth. So the Jews join Israel from within the land of the north, and they come out, and we will come back to the land of Israel. Now we're going to read a bit more about that. So here is the current land of Israel as it is today, and you can see that area in the light brown fawn colour. That is the current state of Israel. That's there now, and that shaded area is the West Bank with the cross hatching going across it. That's what's called the West Bank, or Judea and Samaria. And to the lower left, just above Egypt, you can see the Gaza Strip, where the Palestinian, the Hamas rules at the present time, and I'm speaking in late 2013. So the Shomron part of the West Bank is waiting for Ephraim, and you can see it circled there. So that the northern part of that West Bank area, Judea and Samaria, the northern part is called Samaria, and we're waiting for Ephraim. Yahweh will organise Ephraim's return, as the scriptures make it very clear, as we've already read. Judah and the lost tribes, or Ephraim, will come together as brothers. And we read just then that they'll come out of the land of the north, out of the north country together. So the house of Judah will join with the house of Israel, not in the land of Israel, but in Jeremiah 3, they will join in the land of the north and come out of the land of the north together. Ephraim won't just march in and take over the Holy Land. He won't just come over to the state of Israel. And I know there's many Ephraimites that are trying to join up with the state of Israel, or with the Jews in the West Bank, or the Judea and Samaria. And I'm not saying what they should or shouldn't do, but the scriptures make it clear that the bulk of Israel, the house of Israel, is going to come out in a time of terrible judgment, and that the house of Israel and Judah are going to join in the land of the north. So God has already told us what he's going to do and how he's going to do it. And by the way, I haven't touched on all the scriptures. Although this is a long teaching, I've not touched on nearly all the scriptures that talk about the house of Israel and the house of Judah and their coming out. But I've brought some important ones that highlight the judgment aspect of it. So the tabernacle of David is going to be restored after this period of judgment. And we come out of the land of the north and out of all the countries where we're scattered in. And please, O Lord God, my Father, let it be soon. The borders of Israel will be enlarged at Syria, Iraq, Jordan, and Egypt's expense. So when the enemies of Israel come against Israel, then Israel will fight them and win. We'll be returning to the land of Israel because that area is going to be available to us, and not just the little area that currently we see here in front of us. If you have a look at the key on that map, you'll see that Israel is only 40 kilometres across, or 40 or 50 kilometres across, just above where you see that circle. It's only 40 or 50 kilometres across. So the Palestinians will be driven into the sea. That's something that the Palestinians say about Israel in their spite. I'm not saying all Palestinians say that, but many of them do. And unfortunately, the biblical prophets say this is exactly what will be done to the Palestinians. So we reap what we sow. If we have, Israel has been willing to live at peace with the Palestinian people, but the Palestinians have never had Israel on their maps. They've desired this whole land for themselves. And the God that of the Bible, the maker of heaven and earth, and which is not Allah, the God of Israel has promised this land to Israel, but our enjoyment of that land is dependent upon our obedience. So there's going to be some changes. So let's have a look at this land of what's promised to Israel in more detail, graphically. So here we have the West Bank, and that's what it looks like there. There's a closer look. So the northern part is called the Shomron, or in our Greco-Roman nomenclature we call that Samaria. And the lower part of the West Bank is called Judea, or Yehuda, more correctly. So that's what's currently called the West Bank, and this is where many of the Palestinians live, but it's also where many Israelis have been setting up tiny little settlements dotted through the land, and we'll see this shortly also. Here's another view of that 3D sort of map of Judea and Samaria, and you can see those hills there in the foreground. The first one here, that's Judea. So that whole area is Judea. And on the northern edge we have Jerusalem. And within the middle we have Hebron. And way down at the foot of the hills is Beersheba. I'll highlight that for you right now as Beersheba right there. So that's Judah's highland area, and behind it you'll see the Dead Sea, and above the Dead Sea is the Jordan River and the land of Ephraim, or Samaria, the Shomron. So this was Ephraim's territory principally, and this is where the capital city of Ephraim was, Shechem. That's where Joseph was betrayed, and it was where Joseph was buried. His bones were buried after the bones were brought back from the land of Egypt after the children of Israel returned, and which is a picture also of the house of Israel, the valley of dry bones, rising up and returning to the land. So Israel is in the north in those high mountains there. And this is the area called, collectively, these two circles around these two mountains, that's the area of the West Bank, or the Judea and Samaria, or Israel and Judea. And Israel can't give away this land because that's the high ground. You can't allow Palestinian terrorists to throw rockets from this high area. And the meeting between these two areas is Benjamin's territory, where Jerusalem is. And that's just bring the cursor up. That's just Blesser. It's just there. That's Jerusalem. So you can see that whole area, how flat it is outside of that mountain area. That's what the Jews had before 1967. So they gained the hilly areas that were circled there, the West Bank, after 1967 during the war.